Hello everyone, this is Tim with Paintball Tek. Gonna go over a rebuild for you guys today of this pretty beat up die Hyper 2 regulator. This is the most common aftermarket die regulator out there right now. The Hyper 3 is just a smaller version of this, so it's pretty similar to do the rebuilds on. This reg came with most of their older markers, the DM4 and 5, and I believe the 6 and 7. And they also sold these as aftermarket upgrades to some of the other markers. So, to get these apart, the bottom part and the top part are keyed for Allen keys. It is a 3/8, which is the largest key that you'll find in a standard set for the top, and a 5/16 for the bottom. Use these to break the parts away from the main body. Usually the bottom cap will come off first, which is the easiest to get off. The top side can be kind of difficult to get off. If you're having difficulties getting this unstuck, you can grip this section in a vise with a couple pieces of wood or a piece of rubber, towel, something along those lines. This one is already pretty loose, so it's easy to get off. Now we're into the middle section of the reg. This one already has the fitting off here, but sometimes if you have the fitting installed and it's screwed in too far, this swivel collar will not come off because the fitting will be stuck in this groove here underneath. So this just slides off the bottom like that. You have two O-rings here under the swivel collar that come off. Well, because this reg is so beat up, we're just going to go ahead and change every seal on here. So I'll go over all the sizes with you. On the top section there are two O-rings as well. Oops. There we go. Now, inside this housing is everything else you have for the reg. There's your piston on the top here. Easiest way to get this out is just to whack it on a tech mat. Usually it comes out pretty simply like that. Now these use a Belleville spring stack. These are the washer style springs that are curved. And they do go in a specific order. They go back to back, and there should be 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 of these washers total in your regulator. Easiest way to keep these in order is just to knock your piston out, pull the O-ring off for replacement, and then just leave the piston sitting right side up so that they don't go out of order. Now on the bottom of the reg, there's the brass adjuster. This uses a 3/16 Allen key. Now when you unscrew it, it won't come out all the way, so use your key to kind of cant off to the side and pull it out. This is the movable base that has the regulator seat inside it, and also an O-ring that seals on the outside. And then inside this housing is a small number 7 seal that comes out with a pick. There. So, in order, let's see if I can line this all up. That, piston seal, these two, swivel, and cow. That's the order of everything. Alright, now, the one last part that we are going to replace on this, because this seal is pretty well damaged, is the puck inside this housing. I have a special tool here that I've made to push these out, although any small like drill bit or a pin or something like that should work. Just go in from the back side. There's a hole all the way through. You can push this little puck out just like that. Now if you don't have a replacement puck, most of the time these can be flipped over one time and be reused. But since I've got a full rebuild kit, I'm going to go ahead and put a fresh one in. The way to do it is just, take your fresh puck and press it all the way into the housing. Nothing fancy, no sealant required. Just use a blunt object like a bottom rounded Allen key to press it in, because you don't want to damage the face of that seal with anything sharp. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and start replacing the O-rings. With the main piston here, this is a size 20, 020. I can go off to the side. This adjuster uses a number 10. And these are all Buna 70 seals. The bottom of this housing uses two number 13s that sit underneath the swivel. And then on the reg top you have a 15 for the top, and then the one that goes here to seal the cap. Usually number 18. It's a little bit smaller than what it needs to be. It stretches over, and then it fits into this small groove here on the top. They can be kind of a tight fit when you're putting a fresh seal in there. Now the only other seal that needs to be replaced is the small number 7 that goes inside. From the factory, that will be a polyurethane 90 durometer. You can use a Buna 90 durometer if that's all you have. A Buna 70 works okay, but I've had instances where the seals have blown out. So I'm going to go ahead and replace it with a factory spec number 790. This one has a groove inside this assembly that it fits in. Might be kind of hard to see down there, but the easiest way to put this in is just kind of drop it in and then use a blunt punch or something to kind of press it in place. Can be a little bit time consuming to do, but there you go. Now if you're getting a leak on this regulator from the bleed hole, which is right here on the side, normally it's that number 7 seal inside the bottom housing here. So, to rebuild and put it all back together, we're going to use Dow 33 as the grease. We get some on a kind of a long punch. Try and coat that inner number 7 O-ring down there just a bit, because that's going to seal on this end of the piston. Grease the new number 20 seal on the piston here. The way I coat O-rings is basically to coat the whole ring surface and then make sure you have the groove filled that the O-ring is sitting in. And then I also like to put a light coating on the housing that that ring is going to be sitting on. That way it's got a nice smooth surface to glide in once it's installed. Now the easy way to put this piston back in, I've found to keep it straight, is to use a punch or an Allen key or something along those lines to keep this lined up so that when it's installed straight, like so. You want to make sure that you don't pop that number 7 O-ring out on the bottom like I just did. There we go. Good. Now, I'm going to put a little bit of grease on this number 10 here. This goes in the bottom. Now normally for these rigs, the factory set is about 3 turns out, so you want to screw this all the way in and then go out 3 full turns. Let's say 3.5. And then we can grease. For this one, a light coat on the O-ring seems to be fine, and then I usually put grease around the edge of this housing because that's where the O-ring is going to seat. Put these two halves together. Use that 3/8" wrench. Tighten everything down. Then a light coat on the swivel O-rings here. The swivel is directional. If you don't put it on the right way, it won't line up. So it kind of looks funky. And then you want to put your bottom cap on. And if you want to put it all back together nice and tight, just grab the 2 wrenches and kind of tighten them down. I usually just leave them hand tight because eventually you're going to want to pull it apart again to service it. There you go. That should be all ready to go and install on your marker and get you going. Thank you very much. Have a good day.